Come here. Come here a second. I want to show you something, and I want you to watch my hands the whole time, all right? Watch what I do. Don't watch me. Watch the load. You see this freezer? Big chest freezer, full one, sitting right here on the shop floor. That thing is, that's better than 400 pounds. Loaded. And I am one man, 60-some years old, one bad shoulder, and I did not eat my breakfast yet. Now watch. I'm not going to lift it. I'm not going to call my boy. I'm not going to no straining, no groaning, none of that. I just slide this underneath. There. And now look. Look at my hand. One hand, two fingers really. And that whole 400 pounds just rolls. Rolls like it's nothing. Like it's an empty box. You saw that. I know you saw it, because everybody does the same thing the first time. They lean in a little. Wait a minute. Do that again. So today I'm going to show you this right here. And I'll be honest with you up front, this is not some space age gadget. It's a board, it's a piece of wood, and 4 wheels. That's it. That's the whole thing. But the man who first showed me how to build it the right way, because there's a wrong way and it'll hurt you. He was pushing 65 years old, and he could move things around that barn that took the rest of us 3 men and a lot of bad language. Alone, whistling. And I watched an engineer, a real one, city fellow with the clipboard, come out to look at one of these and just stand there, shaking his head. He kept saying the same thing. That shouldn't work that well. That should not work that well. But it does. And by the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly why it works, exactly how to build one that won't fail you. And this part matters, exactly how not to get yourself hurt with it. Because folks do. We'll get there. I'll tell you the day it clicked for me. I was a young man, strong, thought I knew everything, and a bunch of us are out trying to wrestle a cast iron stove across a barn. 4 of us, sweating, cussing, pardon me dropping it, catching it, near took a fella's hand off. And this old man, the 65-year-old I mentioned, he's just standing off to the side watching us make fools of ourselves. Doesn't say a word for the longest time. Then he walks off, comes back rolling this plain little wooden thing. Sets it down, tips the stove up 2 inches with a bar, slides it under, and then he hands the whole business to the youngest, littlest boy there, maybe 10 years old, and that child pushed the stove across the barn by himself. And the 4 of us grown men just stood there with our mouths open. And the old man, he didn't gloat. He just kind of smiled and said, "Boys, you were trying to carry it. It only ever wanted to roll." So hold on, let me set this down and pick it up proper so you can actually see it. All right, there she is. Now up close, this thing is almost insulting how simple it is. Oh, it's a slab of wood. This one's oak, but I'll tell you in a minute what you actually want. About 16 inches by 24. Thick though, good and thick. And on each of the 4 corners, a wheel. But not just any wheel. A caster, the kind that spins, swivels, all the way around, 360 degrees, every one of them. And that little detail right there, that's half the magic, and I'll come back to it. So, the big question, the one the engineer couldn't get past. Why does 400 pounds roll under 2 fingers when I couldn't drag it an inch by hand? And the answer is, okay. I'm going to say this plain, because I'm not a school teacher, and neither are you. When something heavy is just sitting flat on the floor, and you try to shove it, the whole bottom of that thing is grabbing the floor, the whole face of it, dragging, fighting you across every square inch. That's why you can't move a loaded freezer by pushing it. You're not fighting the weight, really. You're fighting the drag, the grab. But a wheel doesn't drag. A wheel only ever touches the floor in one little spot, tiny spot, size of your thumbnail, and then it rolls that spot forward and picks up a fresh one. It never drags. It just tips over its own contact over and over. And so instead of fighting the whole weight of the thing pressed flat against the ground, you're only fighting this teeny little bit of resistance where the wheel meets the floor. I heard it put away I liked once. Sliding, you fight the weight. Rolling, you only fight the wheel. And on good wheels, on a decent floor, that difference isn't small. It's not like it's twice as easy. It's more like 100 times. That 400-pound freezer, the force it actually takes to keep it rolling once it's moving is maybe the same as picking up a bag of sugar, a few pounds. That's it. That's the thing that shouldn't work that well. It's not a trick. There's no motor, nothing hidden. I'm not fooling you. It's just that we spend our whole lives dragging things that were begging to be rolled, and we never stop to notice the difference. You already know this, by the way. You do. Think about a suitcase, a big packed suitcase, the heavy kind. When they only had a handle on them, you'd carry that thing through the station and your arm would be 3 inches longer by the time you got to the door. Then somebody, some genius, same kind of genius, stuck a couple little wheels on the bottom. Same suitcase, same weight. But now a small child tows it along behind him, humming, not a care. Nothing changed but where the weight meets the ground. That's all we're doing here. We're just doing it to a freezer instead of a suitcase. And the floor matters, I'll say that too, while we're honest about it. This works like a dream on a smooth floor. Concrete, wood, tile, a good barn floor. On soft dirt, or thick gravel, or deep grass, the wheels want to sink in and it gets harder. Bigger wheels help a lot out there. A big wheel rolls over a bump a little wheel falls into. So if you're working on rough ground, size up your wheels. Out on the smooth though, small and cheap does just fine. And before I get into the how, because I know some of you are already reaching for a pencil, let me just say one quick thing and then I'll hush about it. This little rolling board is one of maybe 100 plain tricks like it that I've had the good fortune to learn. Simple answers to expensive problems. A couple of good friends of mine actually went and wrote a whole pile of them down in one book so they wouldn't get lost. I'll point you to it up top of the description later on if you're the kind that likes that sort of thing. But that's for later. Let's build the cart first. Now, the wheels. Let's talk about the wheels because this is where I see folks go wrong and where the genius of the old design really lives. 4 swivel casters, not 2. I know some of you have seen the kind with 2 fixed wheels in back and 2 that swivel up front, like a shopping cart or a hand truck. And that's fine for one job, going in a straight line, down a hall, out to the truck. But in a barn, in a shop, you are never going in a straight line. You got to turn it in tight, spin it in place, wiggle it into a corner, back it under a shelf. And with all 4 swiveling, this thing turns like it's floating on water. You can spin 400 pounds in a full circle with your pinky. Push it sideways any direction. No steering, no fighting. That's the old-timer's choice. All 4 swivel, and once you've used it that way, you'll never go back. Second thing, and this one's the one that fails on people and scares them off the whole idea, the load rating. Every caster, every single wheel you buy, it's got a number on it, how much it can hold. And here is the mistake, and please hear me on this one. Folks say, well, I've got 4 wheels and my freezer's 400 pounds, so 400 divided by 4, that's 100 pounds a wheel. I'll buy 100-pound wheels. No, N-O, don't you do that. Because a load is never, ever sitting evenly on all 4 corners. Never happens. Your floor's not perfect, your load's not balanced, you hit a pebble, you go over a door threshold, and for 1 second, 3 wheels come up light and 1 wheel is carrying almost the whole thing. And that's the second it snaps. So the rule, write this down, this is the one that keeps you safe. Every single wheel should be rated to hold at least 1/3 of your whole load. Your whole load, not a quarter, 1/3. So 400 pounds, you want each wheel good for, call it 150 pounds, minimum. Overbuild it. Wheels are cheap, your feet are not. And the third thing, the last piece, and this is my favorite cause you can't see it till I tell you. Look at the deck. Look how low it is. The whole platform rides just a couple inches off the floor. That's on purpose. That is very much on purpose, because when you set a tall, heavy thing up on a rolling base, the higher it rides, the more it wants to tip, wants to fall right over on you. So you keep the deck low as those wheels will allow, and you keep your load's weight down low and centered, and now it's stable. It'll roll all day and never think about tipping. Low and centered. Say it while you build. Oh, and one more, I almost skipped it. You see this notch cut right here into the front edge? Little curve? That's a handhold. Sounds like nothing, but when this thing's loaded and you need to give it that first little nudge to get it going, or ease it down off a threshold nice and slow, you want a place to hook your fingers or slip a strap. The old boys never left that off. Every one of theirs had it. It's the difference between shoving a dead weight and guiding it. They'll go. So that's the whole invention. A low, thick slab, 4 swivel wheels, each one good for 1/3 of the load. A notch to grab. That's IT. And I promise you it will change how heavy work happens on your place. Let me tell you what I mean. I moved my chest freezer out from the wall to clean behind it by myself, in about the time it took me to say that. The full rain barrel, the 55-gallon one, when it's brimming, that's north of 450 pounds of water. I roll it from the downspout over to the garden. Used to be I'd bucket it, bucket by bucket. Now I roll the whole barrel. My workbench, my big cast anvil, a stack of feed sacks, the wood cook stove when we redid the kitchen floor, all of it, one man. Sacks of grain, a hog barrel, firewood by the quarter cord. Things I used to dread, things I used to wait on my sons for, things I used to put off till my back felt up to it. Now it's just roll it over, do the job, roll it back. And nothing in my body hurts at the end of the day. That right there, that's the real gift. It's not the wheels, it's the years it gives back to your back. Now let me, while it's on my mind, let me say one thing and then we'll get to building your own. This, what I'm showing you, a clever bit of wood that does the work a machine or a bought contraption or a strong young back used to do, that's not really about a cart. That's a whole way of living. Our people, we've kept 100 little tricks like this one. Ways to move heavy, keep food cold, heat a room, pull water up out of the ground, all of it without a wire run to the house or a bill in the mail. And a good friend of mine and his wife, plain folk, Amos and Rebecca, they got worried these old ways were slipping off, dying with the old men who knew them. So they sat down and they wrote a whole mess of them into one Plain Almanac. I keep my copy right there on the shop bench. If a simple wooden thing rolling 400 pounds under 2 fingers made you sit up a little, the rest of that old know-how, it's all in there. I'll leave it linked up top of the description down below. No rush on it. It's just there if you want it. All right, building your own. And I'm going to give you real numbers, the ones I'd give my own boy, but do me a favor, the exact measurements, the wheel size, all of it, I'll put down in the description too so you're not scribbling. The deck. You want a hardwood if you've got it, oak, maple, ash, something with backbone. If all you've got is pine or plywood, that's all right, just double it up. 2 layers of 3/4-inch plywood, glued face to face and screwed. That makes a deck stronger than most any single board. Size it to your loads. 16 by 24 is a good, honest all-arounder, but if you're moving a freezer, measure your freezer and build to it. Round the corners so it doesn't bark your shins. Cut that handhold notch in the front. And if it's living out in the barn, in the damp, wipe it down with boiled linseed oil, let it dry, do it again. Wood'll drink water and rot and swell otherwise. Seal it. The wheels. 4 swivel casters. And now you remember the rule, each one rated for 1/3 of your heaviest load and then some. For most folks around the house, a 400-pound job, you're looking for casters marked around 150, 200 pounds each. Get the ones with a good rubber or polyurethane tread, not hard plastic. The softer tread rolls quieter, grips better, and it won't chew up your nice floor. And here, this is important, bolt them on. Bolt them right through the deck with a washer and a lock nut on the back side. Do not, I mean it, do not just run 4 little wood screws into them and call it done. Wood screws back out under a shaking load, especially down in the end of the board. A through bolt with a lock nut is never coming loose. That's your whole safety right there in 4 bolts. Don't cheap out on the 4 bolts. If you want, you can add a couple little wood cleats or a strip of that rubbery no-slip mat on top of the deck, so the load doesn't slide around while you roll. Nice touch. Not required, but nice. And that's a Saturday morning. A board, 4 wheels, 16 bolts, an afternoon of oil drying. You'll have change back from what a fancy store-bought dolly costs, and yours will be stronger and you can fix it forever. Now a few little wrinkles, because once you built the one, you'll want a couple more for different jobs. And there's a version for near everything. If you've got casters with a little brake on them, a lever you flip down with your toe that locks the wheel, those are worth the extra few pennies, honestly. You roll your load where you want it, flip the brakes, and now it stays put while you work. No chasing it.
Yes.
I like a brake on at least 2 of the 4. For the big stuff, moving a whole shed's worth of something, or long lumber, or a grain bin, build it bigger and longer. Same idea, just a longer, wider deck, and maybe 6 wheels instead of 4 so the weight's spread out more. And on a long one you'll want 2 of your wheels fixed, that don't swivel, so it tracks straight and doesn't try to crab off sideways on you. And if you're rolling something that likes to slide around, round things, barrels, a stack of pipe, put a little lip on the deck, a shallow rail around the edge, or just a couple of blocks screwed down to cradle it. Keeps your load from walking off the front when you stop quick. See, that's the beauty of it. It's not one invention. It's a whole idea you can shape to whatever your hands need to move that week. Now, before you go move your whole house, the safety. And I'm going to slow down and say these plain, no joking around, because this is where the hurt happens. Listen close. 1. Never go over the wheel's rating. Add 'em up honest and stay well under. A wheel that lets go under a loaded freezer is a broken foot, easy or worse. 2. Slopes. This is the big one. A loaded rolling cart on any kind of a slope, a ramp, a driveway, even a floor that's a little off level, wants to get away from you. And a runaway 400-pound load will go right through a wall or right over a person. So, load it and unload it on flat, level ground only. If you ever have to cross a slope, you get a second person and you go slow and you never ever get below it. Never let it be uphill of you where it can run you down. When it's parked, chalk a wheel or tip it up off the casters so it can't roll on its own. 3. Your fingers and your toes. Wear real boots, steel toe if you've got them. Keep your fingers out from under the load and off the floor when you set it down. Casters pinch, they'll take a fingertip. 4. Don't ride it. I know it's tempting, and the grandkids will beg. It is not a scooter. It has no brakes, and it'll dump you on your head. Don't ride it, don't let the little ones ride it. 5. Tall loads. If you're stacking something tall and top-heavy up on there, strap it, or don't. A tall load on a low cart tips easy when you turn quick. Keep it low, keep it centered. Take your turns slow and wide. You follow those 5, this thing will serve you faithfully for 20 years and never once hurt you. Ignore them and, well, don't ignore them. So there it is, the whole genius invention, a board and 4 wheels. And I really do hope, you build one, and I hope the first time you roll something across your shop that used to take your whole back and half your morning, I hope you grin like a fool, 'cause I did. Still do, matter of fact. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How many other back-breaking, money-eating jobs around a place have a $2 answer just sitting there, plain as day, that we walk right past because it looks too simple to be true? There's a lot of them. There really are. That's the whole idea behind the way we live. I've got one more of these I've been meaning to show you. A way the old-timers pulled water up out of a low creek and sent it uphill to the house, all day and all night. No pump, no power, no one touching it. And people don't believe that one either, right up till they see it run. That one, that water trick, that's actually one my friends Amos and Rebecca went and wrote down, plain as day, in that little almanac of theirs I keep mentioning. And so's a whole heap of others. Heating a house on one fire, keeping food cold with no icebox, the whole business. 90 of them, all told, with the measurements and what every bit of it costs, laid out in the order you ought to tackle them. If sitting here with me today was worth your while, and I hope it was, that book is simply the rest of the conversation. It's linked right up top of the description, and if you'd rather, there's a little square code on the screen here you can point your phone at, and it'll take you straight there. No hurry on any of it, though. It'll keeps the same as good tools do. You take care of yourself now. Build the cart and be good to your back. It's the only one you're ever going to get.